The views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of its host, Urban Arts Enterprises, its advertisers, or affiliates, and are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent. What up, y'all? 7 o'clock on a Tuesday. So you know what that means. It's inside stepping time. It's time to talk about stepping from the inside out. And always, like always, I have tonight, y'all, a very interesting guest. One that's been around the stepping world many years. And it's going to be real. Y'all going to get some insight tonight. Let me just put it like that right there. So let me say happy Halloween to all you tricks, creatures, and treaters. Yeah, y'all know who you are. You tricks and you treaters. Hey, Valerie, how you doing? Thank you for checking in. I see you. Sandra in the house. What's up, Sandra Nixon? What you doing? So tonight, y'all, we're going to have a little fun, but we're going to get into some of the nuts and bolts because, like always, Bobby Green in the building. What's happening? Hey, Adrian Bampil Norris, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for checking in. Y'all, we always, one of the things that I must say that I pride myself on this show is making sure that we get clarity, making sure that we have understanding, making sure that when we talk about something on this show, you don't leave here still asking questions. You know, you find that if y'all hear any background noise, it's trick-or-treaters. So, you know, we got people coming through picking up this candy, you dig? I even got me some, you understand me? But you'll find that we always have, and myself included, as long as I've been around this, we always manage to have some form of questions and sometimes confusion. And, you know, things happen. Events take place, conversations get had, all sorts of things happen. And a lot of times we're left wondering what happened, what should have happened, what could happen, and what we need to do, and making sure that we understand everything that we need to understand about this community. You know, I was talking to somebody the other day, and the one very important point that came out of that entire conversation was that I don't know anybody around this community that knows everything. I don't know, and I'm talking about people that was here from the very beginning. I know people, you know, we're able to speculate, we're able to, you know, think about things and try to make it make sense, but I don't know anybody that knows everything there is to know around this community, which is not a bad thing because it forces us to interact with one another and learn from each other as we move forward in our own individual journeys in this dance, because everybody's journey started somewhere separate, usually from everybody else. And it involved, because like our everyday walk, it involves people that where we're not always together, we're not always moving in the same direction all the time. And sometimes we just gotta, you know, pick up what we can, where we can, and move forward with it. So with that said, without further ado, let me introduce to my audience, for those of you who don't know this man, the myth, the legend. Some of y'all call him Marlon, but that's the old way, because today we call him Jamal. My man Jamal Bay in the building. What's happening, sir?
What's up, my brother? What's going on? What's going on?
Man, always good, brother, when we get a chance, when we get an opportunity to chop it up, because the conversations are always lengthy and educational. Informative, if you will. And man, you know, it's how you doing this Halloween, man? You ain't out trick-or-treating, man. What
Oh,
where
no,
your
no, man.
costume at,
I
bro?
don't do none of that, man. I don't do none of that, man. My lights is off and hey, everything's shut off on the porch, but I'm still looking. You know what I'm saying? You know, you still got them lookers and lurkers, man.
You know, put them big dogs out there on them, Jack.
Man, look, I had they went upstairs with my wife because man, I'm telling you, once they hear, they see it, they own it.
It's on and cracking. They gonna be barking for the rest of the night. That's all right,
Yes,
man. Ain't nothing
sir.
wrong with having them fur babies, man. And matter of fact, speaking of that, let me give a shout out to my man L.A. Chase and his wonderful wife. They had to put one of their fur babies down the other day, man. And my condolences to
Chase,
y'all, because
Chase.
I'm gonna tell you, you know, a lot of people who don't own animals, who don't, you know, love dogs the way we do, you know, they don't understand, man. That's family, you know, and you know, you take care of them and they take care of you, man, and you know, and they're there for times and things when other folks ain't. So you gotta appreciate them.
Yeah, man. Them fur babies, man. They got an undying love, man, when they come to
That's right. When
the
everybody else is making you mad, look, when these steppers get on your nerves, you could always pet your dog.
they'll listen to everything you saying.
That's right. They gonna listen to you, and they gonna lay their head on you and everything. They gonna be like, oh yeah, it'll be bad, it'll be okay, daddy. Yeah, love my fur babies, man. I'm no
Sir.
longer. All mine have gone on to be with the fur ancestors, and I'm currently taking care of my fur. I got grand cats and a grand dog. Let me see. One, two. I got 4 grand cats and a grand dog. So yeah. So look, man. What I want to do first, the first thing I want to do is, let's talk about you a little bit before I get into the real meat of this thing. What I want to get into. How long you been around this game, man? I know that's a loaded
Well,
question. I'm just saying.
yeah, because it remind me when I'm at the World Largest, and that be and every year be the same thing. It I have to repeat it. You know what I'm saying? And it's no problem. But I've been around this man 40 plus years. I started in '73.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, One of my mentors in this thing was Barry and Gene. And anybody know Barry and Gene from their history,
The
man. I
legendary
got great
Barry
love
Hylick.
for both of them. Yeah, we grew up, man, together, man. We ate together, we broke bread together, man. We got suspended from school together.
That's how you know
Yeah,
that's how you know who your real homies is.
that's right. My ride or dies right there.
Man. So um your take on stepping from then till now. And I'm asking you that question because I'm leading up to something else. Your thoughts.
My thoughts on the dance, how it has came into a new form of identifying with people in their surroundings. I knew when I started teaching here in Michigan back in '97, wasn't nobody stepping here.
Mm-hmm.
I needed somebody to step with, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So um, the people that I surrounded myself around at that time, they owned a club called Club Yesterdays, and they actually the ones who asked me to teach,
Mm-hmm.
and because of my love for the dance, and it's not nothing else but my love and my passion for this dance is totally different than some. Um, that and I'm speaking on myself.
Right.
Uh, I love this dance from the first time I ever started doing it. And up to now, I still love this dance. One of the things though that do bother me is this form of cliche talking about, man, uh, people about change in the dance.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say this. My grandfather used to say, man, if it ain't fixed, don't try to, no, if it ain't broke, don't try to
That's right.
fix it. I don't think there's nothing wrong with the dance. Uh, but it's a different era, and I accept certain things, but I don't accept the fact that people want to uh, wash it down. Uh, because no matter what, wherever anybody else goes, Chicago gonna always be Chicago, and it's always gonna be Chicago stepping. It's not gonna be Chicago slash salsa, Latin, tango, all this stuff that, man, people have started putting into the dance. Now it's entertaining at a point, but it still doesn't hold the essence of the dance.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
um,
Right quick before I add to what you're saying, Anthony Sumner, sir. I'm getting roasted over here. Dude say, "What's up, Brian? Glad to see you have a Detroiter on by way of Chicago, Anthony. Seeing as how you never come to our events here in the D. Come on, man, don't do me like that." I'm getting roasted over here. Hey, charge it to my head and not to my heart. I have plans to come to the D soon. Don't y'all gotta understand, man. We've gotten incredibly busy and we move around, when we moving, we getting better. Just bear with me. We don't hold it against me, man. Anyway, yeah. Speaking of that, Adrian Norris makes an excellent point, which is one that I've made on multiple occasions. And the reason why, one of the foundations for the reason why I am like you, and people need to get this idea out of their head that these things are going to somehow change into something else. And she says the waltz has been around for years. Nobody's trying to change it. And she said, and which is an extremely valid point, because for whatever reason, people seem to think that if they add their own particular flair or there's something that they decided to bring to the table, that it's going to make it better. This dance doesn't need none of y'all. It don't need me. It don't need nobody. And it definitely don't need to be changed. What it needs is for people to learn how to respect it and operate within it properly in order that it maintains its legendary and cultural status as it has always been known. And there are those who continue to insist that somebody's going to take this and somebody's going to do that. And I can assure all of this audience as we speak right now today, that ain't going to happen. And it ain't going to happen because the legal hoops that they're going to have to jump through. Now, and I'm probably, some of y'all are sitting there going, he don't know what he's talking about. Well, trust me when I tell you this. If you hear it come out of my mouth, trust and believe it's been vetted, it has been stamped, and it is accurate. No one is taking this dance anywhere. And there's coming a time soon enough where the organization of this dance will be in place. Now, you can say you heard it here on Inside Steppin' First. You can doubt me. You can question me. You can go and say that ain't true. You can do all of that. But if you don't know what I know, you might as well hold on to that. Now, you can back me up on that. Am I right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes,
enough
sir.
said.
Definitely, and on that note, because I am in Detroit, when I first got here, one of the things that interested when I first started going to the club was Detroit's urban ballroom. And even though I am from Chicago and I'm a stepper, I embraced that dance. I actually enjoyed dancing when I'm in Chicago with my sister. She actually wants the ballroom while everybody else on the floor stepping. But the thing is, I've never disrespected Detroit urban ballroom.
That's right.
When I learned from some of the great dancers in the Detroit ballroom field, even when I taught it, I never tried to change it. I kept it the same way that they taught me. Because I don't think I have to come in and try to change something that don't need to be changed.
That's right. It don't need to be fixed.
So, and that's in the same way I feel about stepping.
This dance don't need fixing. Leave it where it is. You either want to do this dance or you don't. Now, I'm gonna put this out here right now. Matter of fact, since we on this topic, and I'm saying this to everybody listening.
And let me send a shout out to my brother Reggie Miles. Peace and love, Reggie.
Reggie Miles in the house. I'm gonna say this.
Reggie.
I'm gonna say this right here for all who are listening. Understand this and understand this very, very clearly. Stepping is what it is. If you have a problem with what it is, don't do it. If it bothers you so much that you think so many things need to be changed, go start your own dance genre and call it whatever you want. Just don't call it stepping. Leave stepping where it is. Leave it alone. We happy with it the way it is. A whole lot of us are. For those of you who think it needs all these changes, go do that. We ain't gonna stop you. Not gonna ask no questions. I promise you we not. Do your thing. Now, with that said, I want to talk to you, sir, today about you've evolved. Well, no, let me back up. You've been in the world's largest before, right?
now let me say this here.
Okay.
I've been in the real world largest.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
You know what I'm gonna
He
say this
he want
here.
to clarify. He said the
I gotta
real.
take it back. See, I used to be at the Burning Spear. When we got on the floor, our judges was the people, our fellow steppers that were around us.
Mm-hmm.
We threw our money on the floor and we went to work.
Nah.
That's who I got judged by. I didn't get judged by a cast of judges uh, like in a on a jury.
Mm-hmm.
So when coming up, that's how we did it back then. We didn't have nobody uh, with the light and all that. Our light was shine right amongst all the steppers that went out
Right.
there,
And respect
and
was a must.
respect was a must. And if you lost that night, guess what? You say, okay, I got you. I'll be back.
I'll
I'm
see you
coming
next
back and
week.
do my thing again. You know what I mean? That's what shows championship. That's what shows dignity. You know what I'm saying? And respect.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when I hear the difference, because I am one official judges
Yep, and we gonna
for the
get into
world
that. Go
largest,
ahead. That's where I'm going with this, but go ahead.
and what really eats me is that all of the conflict, the hatery, the every time somebody don't win or somebody loses, or they want to disrespect the judges, they want to throw rocks at these judges. These judges doing the best they can. Some of them may not be 100% knowing what they doing, but they doing the best they can. I be sit up there on that stage sometimes and say, man, how did that person win?
Mm-hmm.
But that's my opinion. But the thing is, people, if you lose, take dignity and come on back next year and try again.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, you can't sit up there and make something out of nothing. And I hear people do that every time after a competition. Someone is attacking someone about who did what. I listened to the show because I didn't go this year, if you as you
Right.
know, because of the medical thing. But I listened to it and the judges, and I'm gonna tell you pretty much. I called everyone that won. I
Mm-hmm.
knew them people was gonna win because I know what to look for. A lot of times, people, man, they see something, they just see something that's a highlight. Oh man, they doing throwing down. But you got to look at the particulars, man. That what he's judging on. First of all, appearance. Appearance is an important thing. When you say step a sharp, that don't mean coming there. And don't get me wrong. It don't have to be uh, a
Sequin
cut
jacket.
up suit or made. It could be long as this man is put together well,
Mm-hmm.
and y'all and you and your partner representing each other. Okay, uh, when you're on that floor, and when you get on that floor, everyone should be cheered on. You can't. I've heard, man, many times some people get booed. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? It takes a lot for people to get up on that stage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree. If
And
you haven't been on that stage, you ain't got no business booing nobody.
my one of brother, I ain't gonna mention his name, but he was on it. He judged one time, and after he judged, he said, "Man, now I realize what the judges, when they up here,
What they
what
up
they
against.
see, what they up against, and what they see." And he was pleading like, man, it wasn't, you know, he's seen a lot of flaws, and
Mm-hmm.
he was wondering if he had flaws like that. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at somebody do a move, a heck of a move, man, that don't win the contest.
Mm-hmm.
You got to think about it. You got synchronization. I don't even know if people, man, look up the definition of synchronization. And if you can go back and look at any video and tell me how many people were synchronized through a whole dance
Mm-hmm.
routine or whatever they did. Because back in the day, we didn't have routines. We came straight from the hip.
Right.
We didn't make up no
And as a
routines.
matter of
We
fact,
were raw.
right, that's right.
You
It
know what I'm
was
saying?
raw on the floor. Whatever you saw on the floor, that's what you got right then. Because people would, and I see a lot of people don't even know that back in them days when people was competing and doing little contests and all other things where it was money involved and all that type of thing, they don't understand. You decided right then, right there, who you was gonna dance with. Wasn't no preconceived, oh, we gonna dance together, let's practice. Wasn't none of that. You was either
And
cold
guess
or you
what?
wasn't.
And let me tell you something. The connection was phenomenal because anytime you can snatch somebody out of the crowd
Yep.
and you get busy with them, they knew what they was doing. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't. It wasn't no second guessing. You didn't have to go and practice no 4 and 5 days and
Right.
no months to get to that point. And a lot of times, if anybody really realized, is that when you doing a contest, if you really doing a contest and you're having routines, I don't care how much you practice them routines, it's always going to be a mistake.
Hmm.
It's always going to be a
Yep.
slip of a hand, slip of a step.
A
You know,
misturn.
you're not going to be in sync with each other.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when they talk about footwork in the contest, you have people that's on that dance floor that don't do footwork.
Hmm.
And guess what? They still may win.
Mm-hmm.
And you wonder why, because everything that Pete has on that list, that's what they should be going by.
Well,
It's
let's
not
let's.
like he don't tell them, he tells them. Just like he talked to the judges, he talked to all the contestants. So it's a thing where, man, when I see and I hear people talking about somebody and what they don't have on and what they don't do this here, it's really disrespectful
You
for
know,
people being.
I agree. I wanna, right quick, while we talking about the criteria, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I
No
wanna,
problem.
you like me, we love to talk. So I know we'll run. You'll be done ran down the rabbit hole on me, so I got to slow you down a little bit. Hold on.
All right.
Now I want to talk about the actual criteria as a judge. There are 5 categories. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. We have appearance, originality, synchronization, showmanship, and footwork. Now,
Correct.
my question, I want to start with footwork at the bottom because you're on that now. When it comes
Okay.
to the dance, yes, smiling happily. That's what I'm reading from right now, judge's scorecard. When it comes to the dance itself, now I've been critical over the years of people in this dance, particularly those who have become a part of, and I want to get into this a little bit later on. I'm going to just touch this right quick, but we're going to put a pin in it. We got people in the newer genre, newer style of stepping, who are not as prone, they're not quite as footwork savvy as an older stepper. And because of that, like what you're saying, you may not see any footwork. A lot of these people are filled with combinations and other things, and you'll rarely see the footwork play out on the dance floor. As a judge, what does that say about a person's ability to be more well-rounded in the dance versus somebody who's basically dancing from the waist up and using a woman as a spinning top versus actually putting their feet on the floor and showing you what they got? What's your thoughts on that
Um,
from a judge's
it's,
perspective?
okay. Wow. So my perspective on that is the fact that, man, when there are rules in place that if it says footwork, that means the combination of the man and woman represent each other, showing their creativity with their feet. That is why the name of this dance is called Chicago
Stepping.
Stepping.
Exactly.
And it's always been about the footwork. It always been about the footwork more so than I ain't gonna say turns.
Mm-hmm.
We did moves. We didn't do a lot of
That's
turns.
right.
We did moves.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, and we fell right back in place. This is not happening in the world largest. To be honest with people, we need more energy when it comes to the footwork.
Mm-hmm.
Your creativity in your footwork, man, shows me what you have, what you bring to the table. But if you just, man, in the upper body movement, like you saying, I mean, it's like a half of a dance. I'm getting half a story. I'm not getting a full story. I'm getting half of the story.
But now,
So for me,
Go ahead.
I have to do the percentage move. You know what I'm saying? I have to really do the percentage move when I'm judging because I want to see the footwork. I want to see the body movement. I want to see them both interact with each other. And it seems that a lot of times it doesn't work for some people. Some people can. It's, put it like this here, just a mighty few can probably get the footwork and the body moving together. The rest of them, it's just upper body.
Okay,
So,
I got two things on that right quick.
okay.
One, Jerome Cook says, can footwork be taught or do you strictly have to develop it individually? Jerome, that goes both ways. You can be taught what you're supposed to be doing with your feet, but for you to add your own flavor to that, that's another thing. And that's what sets you apart from everybody else.
Correct.
Now, Jamal,
Yes.
what do you say to people? And this is something that I've run into recently. What do you say to people who will make the claim that, and particularly when we're talking about some of the judging panels, when we have people that are actually from Chicago, right? Who are usually the majority makeup of these panels. What is to be said when an outside person, a person who's not from where we're from, who hasn't been around this culture as long as we have, and they say, well, the blame for certain things that we see are on Chicagoans because they reward these behaviors. For example, we see people doing parts of this dance, and our Chicago judges then basically you have people winning who are not following the criteria. Where does the blame get placed when something like that happens and we become caught up in what that person did is acceptable because basically Chicagoans co-signed it?
Coming from me, be truthful. That is something that I agree with you on. We have to take the blame. Chicagoans have to take the blame, regardless, because man, it can't be. This cannot be a biased situation.
Right.
If you ain't right, you're not right. You know, I've been shot down a couple of times because someone felt like I didn't judge somebody correctly. But first of all, you got to know what you're judging on. I know what I'm judging
And what
on.
you being
I know
judged on.
yeah, being judged on from head to toe. I look at everything. Uh, Somebody said, "Man, they hate when they see me put my shades on when I'm on up on the stage
I think that's a good thing.
because
That way they don't know what you're doing.
well, then that's true. But the fact of the matter is, when I see the dance, not the energy in the dance not being performed, and then when you pick music, the music that you play also play a perfect part of what you're doing when you're dancing. I cannot honestly sit up there and say, hear somebody play, just say Busta Rhymes and step. I don't see how that even works. You know what I mean? Um, and it becomes a thing. Now you have to really sit up there. Or what they did well. What they may did well, but the music did not, man, give the dance justification. Um, like for instance, let's go back to that brother Stewart out of
Atlanta.
let
Yeah.
me tell you, I was inspired. My energy flow when he got out on the floor in the beginning. He did what he was supposed to be doing. So for people that don't realize that, man, that was okay for that second, but you got to have a backup
The
plan.
showmanship and the appearance for me
The
on that was
appearance
great. He, in
was
fact,
wonderful.
I've said this repeatedly and I will continue to say it. A lot of people don't understand how he got where he was. I'm going to break it down for y'all right now. I'm going to tell you exactly how he got where he was. Now, this is nothing against any of the dancers who were there this year because it was a great show. However, in light of previous shows and previous years, this was, I don't want to call it boring. It was still an exciting show, but it wasn't up to the standard of excitement that we are accustomed to with the world's largest. And I believe that it was, in my opinion, somewhat of a perfect storm. He came onto the stage. Everybody kind of knew his background. He had only been doing this a short time. They knew that he was young. He jumped in the game with this high energy song, a classic, a bop song that we all know. If you've been around this dance as long as we have, we all know that song brings that smoke, and we like, yeah, you know. And his partner had on a beautiful dress with the fringes. She worked it. She had that thing bouncing and jumping all over the stage. He came in, they had high energy. The showmanship was off the chain. It had people excited. It even had me excited. But in the end, when the excitement died down and it came time for him to have to back that up, see, now we saw what happened and the excitement wasn't there anymore. And they said, dance off, dance off. I knew that it was over in that regard, specifically because I knew he didn't have enough tools in his toolbox, strictly out of lack of experience, to be able to do anything with a tick man on stage. Bro, you're not getting ready to survive this. Not like that. But I give him props for putting on a great show. That's my take on what we saw. Now, because the audience was so excited, and I'm guessing that the judges even got caught up in it to a large degree, to the point where they were like,
I know I did.
Huh? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And you're a seasoned judge. You've been doing this for years. See, and the one thing that people cannot ever take out of this equation, and the part that never comes up on these scorecards, the human element. You cannot remove that from these scores. People get excited. They see something, they go, yeah. And next thing you know, they operate in the moment. And those judges all operated in the moment. Therefore, we saw somebody get put into a position that was great for him, beneficial. But if we get down to the technicals of it, it wasn't there. Everything else was on point. Now, Jamal, tell me, because now here's another critical thing that I heard from someone recently. We were at another contest. Well, we were at Texas Heat, matter of fact, in Houston. I've heard this before at other competitions, but it stood out somewhat at Texas Heat. Someone pointed out that the judges were caught looking around, having conversation on cell phones and other things during people's performances. Tell me what your thoughts on stuff like that is.
Well, I think you should.
And I'm bringing that up because you talking about when you put your glasses on. See, I feel like if you got your glasses on, they can't see what you're doing.
I'm about to clear that up.
Okay.
So there is, let me see. When I say, when you out there, you're dancing, you have to, have the attention of the judges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dig that.
The judges are
dig that.
On their cell phone, looking around.
That means you ain't doing
talking to each other. That means that you have not grabbed the attention of the judges. You may have grabbed the attention of the audience, but not the judges. And that means that that don't mean it's bad. That means that, something is not being given for them to take look, which is wrong. They should be watching at all times.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to remember, we human. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to say the same thing. When I put them shades on, I'm letting you know I'm bored as heck. Listen, I'm about to fall asleep. Bring me some coffee, because the simple fact, if I watched in the contest 10 people on the floor in one category,
mm-hmm.
and all 10 people actually do the same thing the other ones did,
mm-hmm.
it gets tiresome. I want to see the energy. It don't have to be no special. I just want to see the energy. When what's missing, like I said before,
Mm-hmm.
is the footwork. There's no complimenting each other. There's no complimenting each other when it comes to the footwork. You know what I mean? It's no complimenting. I'm gonna tell you one time. This brother, let me see if I get it. Maurice Thomas.
Yes, sir.
He danced with this young lady. I
Very
think it was in
underrated. Very underrated performer, by the way.
2010. He danced with this young lady, and she had on like a shingle dress. If I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
They threw down, and guess what? Whatever he did, she complimented it.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is dancing. It can't be no one-sided dance because that's what a lot of the judges see. When you're one-sided, all the energy coming from one side, and I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna say this here because every time you hear them call someone name after a contest, they only mentioning one person's name, and that's the person who's giving that energy
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in the dance.
Yeah.
And you partners. You gotta remember, y'all partners.
That's right.
So the thing
It's a couple
is,
partner dance.
so if I just see one side, that's the only person name is gonna ring in my ear because that's the one who's giving the energy, and I'm looking at the other one. You're not giving it back.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have them three categories that are very important: footwork, synchronization, and showmanship.
Mm-hmm.
Them three play a key role with each other. And if you don't have it, you may have showmanship, but then you don't have no synchronization. You may have synchronization, but don't have no showmanship. So really, it is a tight wrench, man.
Mm-hmm.
It is really something that when people out there, they need to really look more to when they get out there on that floor.
Mm-hmm.
They need to entertain the judges. Now, what the judge is doing on the phone, I don't know. It could be an emergency. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know. Okay, right quick.
Yeah.
I got three things that I gotta put to you right quick. I got two questions, and I got the producer lady wants to know what your thoughts are on the dance between I'm having a brain fart. That young man and Candace at the in the world's largest this year. Stewart.
Oh,
Yeah.
Stewart. Okay, my take on that is they did very well uh, coming out the gate.
Look, as one of the judges that wasn't there this year
Right,
for the first time in forever. But go ahead. I want to hear what you think.
right. I think they did very well. I really do. I'm gonna tell you when it was over with because I didn't know her name.
Mm-hmm.
I reached out to Stewart
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like, man, a part of him was missing.
Mm.
And somebody said, "Thank you, Jamal," because no one ever mentions the woman's name. It's always the guy. So, but
Right.
going back to what happened, I think he did very well. But as I said before, you got to have a backup plan.
Man.
When they went to go and do even though they tied, and they went and do it, and they went to start to go do the dance off,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't have a backup plan.
Right.
And he didn't have a backup plan. If you look at the energy, even in that dance off, Tick came with the backup plan.
Right. But I
Uh,
mean, he got deep pockets, so that
yeah, right.
wasn't a stretch.
And I'm not just saying that because he from the shine, I'm from the shine. I'm just keeping it real. That would be anybody. If you don't have a backup plan, then you got to be prepared for things like that. And I know some people feel like, oh yeah, he should have won, but he didn't win because it was a tie. So we got to stop right there. We got to cut dry that.
Right.
It was a tie.
Right.
It wasn't like it was a close to narrow tie. It was a tie.
Period.
They had a dance off. Now, if they didn't have the dance off, guess what? It would have been written in books
Yeah.
that he went up against a veteran in this dance and he has first place
Yep.
status.
You're right.
But they chose to do a dance off.
Well, there are those who say he should have walked away with that split and been done with it for that reason. For
And
that
I
reason
and I'm
alone.
one of them. I'm one of them. I agree that I believe that he should have walked away, kept that first place status, and walked away with a. Because listen, is it really about the that cheddar, or is it about the
The status.
being
Because look, it
acknowledged
ain't enough
as
money
that
involved
person?
in none of this for that to matter.
You
Let's
know,
keep it 100.
because at the end of the day, by the time you finish and you leave and you go home, and the money that you don't put in it, that money gone.
Yeah.
So my thing is, be, at that time he was a champion. And guess what? Even though he got second, he's still a champion.
Right.
You're only the champion for that day. You got to come back and
You got
do
to
it
do it
again.
again. That's right. You got to be
You
ready
know,
to, you got
and
to be
come
ready to
back
pull
with.
it. I'll be excited to see what he pulls up next year because I have a strong idea that this was a very much a learning lesson and a stepping stone for him. So we can look forward to what's coming up. One of the Crystal Scott makes the point that nowadays in the workshops and classes, they're not pushing footwork. Crystal, that is, in my opinion, that is soon to change. And I'm saying that mainly because we are moving into a time where people are beginning to reach back, if you will, and grasp the true essence of the dance in ways that haven't been done in quite a while. And also keep in mind, y'all know I'm very critical of a lot of instructors, specifically those who should not, in my opinion, be instructing anybody. But most of them can't give you something that they themselves don't have. So because of that, the community itself is oftentimes at a loss when it comes to the learning of some of that stuff. And you have people that push back on it because, again, they can't do it. And a lot of them are going to have to go back to the drawing board and learn it themselves. And that's just the raw facts of it. And a lot of people don't want to do that because, like somebody said earlier in this feed, these egos are huge. So, that's just a thing.
But you know what, Brian?
Mm-hmm.
What I want to say is, um, me being an instructor, I don't I don't build myself off of egos, but one of the problem is the people, the dance community, the ones that are learning,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of turn that pot for these egos. First of all, your money can spend anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Your money can take you anywhere you want to go. If you don't feel that you're learning something, then you go to someone else. You ask questions. I tell my students every time, you ain't just got to go to me,
Hold these
but
instructors
ask
accountable.
questions. Yeah, yeah, make them accountable
Mm-hmm.
because it's important that make them want a man either, hey, either post up or leave it alone
Mm-hmm.
because it's bad that when I can hear maybe 4 or 5 people say, "Man, with such and such say, uh, do it like this," or such and such say, "Do it like that." You know, and one of the things I do ask anybody to come to my class, even somebody who came to from somebody else's class, I said, and I asked them, I said, "Well, how long has your instructor been doing this?"
Mm-hmm.
And 9 times out of 10, because he out of town, from out of town, they be like, "Oh, they've been doing it 10,
Yep.
15, 20 years." And I literally look at them and I say, "Well, I've been doing this 40 plus. So I'm not saying I'm perfect, but if I give you a dose of medicine,
Mm-hmm.
try to hold on to it. I ain't telling you got to use it. You can keep on doing the same stuff and
Mm-hmm.
going back, and then when you go back and you look at that blueprint and you see your stuff is not working, then you eventually wake up or you're gonna leave it alone.
Man.
I We have to, man, like you said, we have to hold instructors accountable. when a question is being asked, they should be able to answer it.
That's right.
It shouldn't be a talk around or whatever. If you can't answer it, then say, I can't answer that.
And for the record, I'm still, just so my audience knows, we are about to publish the list of what we refer to at Inside Steppin as reputable instructors, people who we deem, and the only reason it's taking us so long is because we have to make sure we have the information compiled correctly so that you have good contact information for these people and so on. But these are people that we respect here at Inside Steppin and agree that are worthy of teaching this dance properly, without all the fluff and nonsense and, trying to sell you every damn thing. Wanda Scales, my girl Slim, she wants to know, what do you feel about more than two couples on the floor at one time when you judging?
Well, I definitely don't think it should be no one couple on the floor. It takes too much time in it. We should, if we're staying focused on watching those who are dancing and watching them, between the time you think about it, they may have 3 minutes apart in the dance.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at the strong, you can tell by the music, because that person that picked that certain song, they're gonna get it in on that song. Now when it come to the other song, they're gonna fall back a little because they don't even know the song that the other person they put out there. So you can make it work with two couples on the floor, but 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever, that's a no-no. One, it's still really a no-no because it takes up too much time. Just even the audience gets bored because now you going one at a time.
Yeah, and especially if you have a couple up there that just are not bringing that smoke, it will bore you to death. And yes, it will make it more tiresome. Adrian Norris and Jerome Cook. Adrian points out, and I'm reading her comment because I want to make a point to her. She says, I'm not a natural dancer, and footwork has always been hard for me to learn and incorporate. I do the best I can and try to focus on trying to be a good follower. That's just me. And Jerome Cook says, me too. Let me say to both of you, part of the reason, and I'm not saying that everyone is going to be automatically capable. However, this is when you want to learn something like that, seek out the ones who are capable of giving you that and giving it to you in a way where it makes sense. Unfortunately, we have a lot of instructors that are not capable of actually articulating this dance in a way that makes it make sense, even for someone like you. Trust me when I tell you, there are a few out here who are very much able to give it to you in a way that will literally change your dance style and your life when it comes to this dance. I've witnessed it for myself. These people will be listed in our upcoming list. A lot of times we as dancers, we can or will, say to ourselves, oh, well, I can't get this. It's not so much that you can't get it. It's just that sometimes the people that you're getting it from, they can't give you what they don't have. So, just be mindful of that before you decide that you can't do it.
What you hiding for? Tell her stop hiding.
Speak on. Yeah, you see her back here.
Tell her stop hiding.
I was trying to hide.
I know you were. Hey,
okay, she always creeping in here with these messages. One of Anthony Sumner, footwork is largely swag. Can you teach that? Anthony, let me put it this way. If you are a person who is capable of dancing and feeling a certain kind of way about how you dance and the way that you move when you dance, let's say it's not stepping. Let's say you out on the floor and you doing hip hop or you house, whatever it is. Don't get it twisted. If you ain't got no swag, you ain't got no swag. There ain't no getting around that. However, because of even that, there are things that can be done, things that you can be given, that you can build on for yourself.
Correct.
Remember this, and this is one of the most important facts about stepping that most people that escapes most people, because when you go in front of some of these instructors, you know, everybody, of course, you're in a class, you want to, by nature, you want to look like everybody else, because you think that when you do that and you follow the person next to you, kind of like land dancing, that you getting it right. My mantra is and has always been that if you look just like everybody else, number one, you're doing it wrong. Now, don't get it twisted. You have to learn your foundation. You must know that. You must have a solid foundation. When I say foundation, I'm not just talking about counting to 8. There is a foundational part of this dance that allows you to operate in a way that everything else that comes to you is easy. Now, most instructors ain't gonna tell you that. Why? Because they don't even know that. They'll teach you things that they think you should know in the dance, and that's fine. It's like little bitty puzzle pieces. Except they didn't give you the box with no picture on the front. So now you got to figure out where all of it goes without any type of visual for somebody that understands what it's supposed to look like. So there has to be a point of reference. You got to find people that are capable of giving that to you. There are not a lot out here. Some of these instructors seem like they charge a lot of money. Some of them are worth every dime. Some of them should not be taking anybody's money for anything. Now, Jamal.
Yes, sir.
Question from the producer lady. Do you believe that the get down and trios should make a comeback in the competitions?
So I think me and you we had a conversation about this. So I just want to clarify something when it comes to just word get down. I know somebody coined it, it may sound good, but if it's pertaining to two brothers stepping with each other, we called it JBN.
Right.
We didn't call it the get down.
Right. I use that term because I know that we have so many who they don't go back that far, but go ahead.
Right. So my thing is, yes, I would, man, I'm telling you, I think that would be, that part would be great. Trio,
I'm not a big fan of trios myself. That's just me.
Right, I just got to actually watching some past trios and these newer trios. I'm gonna say the ones in the 90s, and you look at the ones in the 2000s. Man, I could do without them because it's not the same. The ones in the 90s, they were actually stepping.
Right.
They had a routine. They were moving. These new ones, they mostly turned
all combination. All combination.
From the words of Reggie Miles,
9,875 turns. Yes, sir.
And I don't think that is. I don't think we need the trio part, but I definitely think that yes, Poppy, get down. I would love to see that. And the thing is, we have to understand is that we need new bodies. We need people that have that energy that we once had when we were JBN, or when you want to call it get down. We need people that want us, and it don't have to be a lot. It can be a selective few that want to learn. And because it's important, because I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of people, someone just asked me about when am I going to start back teaching, because they said they miss, and I was telling them that we was talking about original. You know, so for y'all, the difference between original and old school, there's definitely a difference. And
yeah, we get ready to talk about that too.
So when I say you need the footwork, gives you your ability to move. What was the brother name you mentioned about swag? It's the energy. It's your execution. It's when you hit on there. You don't need swag for that, but
to hit them beats.
Learning them beats, learning how to really listen to and complimenting the music is very important. You know, it is not just you having swag. I prefer to see someone, man, putting it in and putting that work in versus having swag. That'll come later because you know why? Because your body, your mind, and your brain will cultivate into learning how to initiate things that's gonna fit.
But you know what's
Not just
funny?
put it there. Mm,
Go ahead. Go ahead. I want you to finish. I
and-
want.
look and just put it there, just throw it out there and it don't fit. You know, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna bump your head. That's the part of learning.
Nah.
But like but like you said, you have to go to people who really know the dance, not someone that can sell you by man selling you swamp water and telling you, man, you
Man.
gotta go, man. You have to
And,
go to people that's going to from the heart teach you.
and got them people convinced that what they telling them is right. That's the funny part. They're usually the loudest ones, is usually the wrongest ones. Look here. Two things. Number one, I'm finna throw a name out to let y'all all know next year who to watch. Trina Allure. Next year, 2024, world's largest. Trust and believe it's gonna be a show. Okay, number one. The other thing is, and this is pertaining to what you just said. Check this out. I have seen situations where
Excuse me.
people have attempted to talk about the music in a class. I have literally seen people get mad when they have to sit and listen to a conversation rather than be walking up and down counting to 8. The sad part is, if they only understood how valuable, first of all, any instructor who's taken the time to actually give you that conversation usually actually knows what they're doing. You might want to listen to them. That conversation, that few minutes or hour or whatever it is, a conversation about music and this dance will literally save you months of learning and understanding. Take that information, because that conversation will add points of reference to your dance that you weren't getting before that. That music is the reason we dance, and without it, you have no dance. Fix it if I'm wrong, brother.
No, you right. You definitely right, man. You know, it's a lot of times, and I've heard this even in my class. Man, just teach. They say, just teach me. Okay, if I don't give you an understanding of what you learn, and guess what you're gonna have?
Mm-hmm.
You have a blank piece of paper because you're not listening to the instructions that will help you. The reason why you're doing this, the reason that you should do this. See, I take you from them numbers to dancing. I could pretty much look on the floor when I could tell people still counting because somebody done told you got to count. That is not true. I don't care what form of dance that you learn. It could be the waltz, it can be the Barcelona, be the tango. They start off with numbers, but once they remove them numbers, they're dancing. You don't see the gaps in there because they got to think about the number or that I'm giving you. It's your timing and your execution that's going to carry you through.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, your timing, execution, and your patience in the dance. And stop picking these songs that's 50 miles per hour and you only going 20.
Mm-hmm.
They don't work together. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They do not work together. When you looking at them, you like, why they going so fast? My sister called me. She called me from Chicago. She said, bro, did you see that? Why they moving so fast?
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand what you're applying to your dance to make you, going back to the swag. If you want that smoothness in your dance, then dance to music that's smooth.
Right.
Dance to music that's smooth and keep on dancing to it because it will fall in place. But if you sitting there, man, trying to get swag off a song that, man, like I said, Bustin' Rhymes or Ludacris, man, you're not gonna get it. It's just a bunch of turns, like you fighting on the floor.
Well,
I
if you
guarantee
take it back to the music itself, and you keep in mind that there's this new push and movement for this so-called, well, I don't want to say new music because it's really You know, we do need to make sure that we have a wide range and variety of music. However, a lot of people don't truly understand what stepping music is. Now, there are those who will say there is no such thing as stepping music. I'm sorry, but I disagree, because stepping, like Sharnice, the phrase Sharnice coined is on her shirts, stepping is a whole vibe, baby. You need to understand that when we started out doing this, you didn't hear a bunch of just jumping off the wall music. We say that for house music. We was cool. We was smooth with it. We took our time. We was not in no rush to do what we was doing. It had to look good. We had to be cool with it. And that's how we developed a lot of swag. Believe it or not, we didn't, you know, some of these cats came in with swag. Don't get it twisted. I was one of them. But this dance helped to develop a lot of folks' swag along the way. It was some rough cats, some cats in the street that was rough around the edges that came in out the cold, you dig, and got polished up some. Why? Because they was around a bunch of smooth things, a bunch of cats that was dancing like they didn't have nothing in the world to care about. And that part of the dance is what we need to see more of today. Relax.
Hey, hey, look, I'm looking. Denise Hodges says 82 to 83 BPMs. And that's the problem.
That Dennis, that's Pastor D out there. That's Dennis Hodges. Yeah, that's my man right there.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not dancing to no BPMs, no beats per minute.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, a lot of times people get a misunderstanding about that.
Mm-hmm.
They get this understanding. This is why when you in a class, first thing you should pay attention to, if you even go into a class, is the music that they're playing to teach their students.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, I believe in, I'm going to teach you to dance first before you hear some music. So if you walk in my class, you may not hear no music.
Nah.
You may hear it playing low, but it's not for you to dance to, because you need to hear me. You need to hear me give you your guidance, to give you your footprint, so you can understand what it is you're supposed to be doing. In other words, your do's and don'ts, your pros and cons. You know, and I've had many people come in my class and go back and forth with me, but I'm fine with that. You know, it's funny. I'm fine with it because, you know, they just, I don't know. It could be a test, you know, but it's fine. I'm fine. I got them covered, you know, and so, but as we go forward, I think that, man, everybody should find that, like you said, find that person that's really gonna give them what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, give you an example. And I was in St. Louis, not this past when Step began some years back. I had me and my wife. I had a big room, so I did what is called a group private.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know every woman in the group wanted to learn how to do a right turn correctly? Because they said what they was learning was not, found out it wasn't correct.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only thing that I work with them on. I work with them on what they asked for.
Right.
I give them what they asked for, and I help them to understand the purpose
Mm-hmm.
of that right turn. You know, so
That's what's
you know,
happening.
it's
Right quick, I'm gonna take a quick pause for the calls and just give my audience some right quicks. So y'all know, as far as upcoming stuff, we will be this weekend. The Forbes, not Inside Steppin', the Forbes will be in the ATL for First Friday. We're gonna hang out at Ellery's on Thursday. We will be hanging with Chicken Wing on Saturday, and we're gonna be kicking it with Miss Mary Chicken Wing on Friday, Miss Mary on Saturday. So y'all ATL folks get ready, because the Forbes is coming through like the old days. We used to hang out at Ellery's every Thursday when we lived there. I'm gonna mess around and move back there. Shit, I know I said I was gonna move to Houston, but I don't know. I might have to go back to the A. Anyway, we got on December 23rd, I'll be with my girl Lisa Luckett out there in Maryville, Indiana. Y'all look out for that event coming up. It's a holiday steppers event. Then we got Clarksville, Tennessee. My man Josiah Burt down there. We're gonna be doing the thing over there for New Year's Eve. The collaboration is real, and we'll be in the building deep. We're gonna do our thing down there. Now, next Monday, y'all pay attention to me. Next Monday, not Tuesday. There will be a Tuesday show. We got a very important guest coming on both of those days. But next Monday, we're doing an exclusive interview. And the reason we're doing it on Monday is because my man has a class on Tuesday. So we're going to do an exclusive live on Monday with Mr. Sean Ballantyne. I promise you, you're going to want to tune in for that interview. It's going to be informative, and we're going to do a lot of talking. So y'all get ready for that. Mark that on your calendar. Next Monday, 7 o'clock, y'all, live. Wait a minute. Wait. Let me back that up. That's Reggie Miles' slot. Let me back that up. I'm going to change that. Y'all get ready. Pay attention, though, because it's coming. Sean Ballantyne next week. Also, we're taking the rest of the year. What? Come here. Look, I got the Halloween producer lady in the building, y'all. Look. Oh, boy. What you got? You got my candy. Look, she got this big old basket of candy, Jack. Look. Damn it, boy.
It's
They
cold
still coming?
outside. I'm trying to pass the candy out to the kids.
The kids still coming? Okay, yeah, keep that up. All right, yeah, don't have that big old basket of candy because I'm going to be eating all of it. Now, the producer lady had one more question for you, man. What are your thoughts on walking, Mr. Reggie Miles' topic here, walking and the future of the walking category? And y'all look out for the flyer that's coming up. I'm gonna post it on Inside Steppin for next week's show for Sean Ballantyne. So get ready for that. What do you think about the walking category? You know, I really was looking this year, and of course you weren't there judging like you almost always are. I have to admit I was a little disappointed with the walking category. It was the most populated category, by the way, this year. I think there were 20 or 21 couples.
Yeah, it was a long one. It was definitely long. I'm not used to that.
Huh?
They don't usually have that many
I
walking.
know. And man, look, I just knew. I said to myself, I was like, man, this walking category gonna be off the chain this year. And it was lackluster. I was rather disappointed. I even said on the show ahead of time that I was excited about the walking category in particular because I really expected to see some fantastic performances. And it kind of was like what you said earlier. A lot of people just kind of looked like everybody else. And yeah. What do you think?
And that's one of the things people got to look to. Me myself, I was really the category and the number of people was in it. See, it was different when it was maybe 5 or 6.
Right.
You appreciate it more, and that energy was there. Okay, and like Miles, I mean, like Magic Mike, Don Vic. I mean, I've sit on that stage and I've seen some great performances. I am gonna say there was one that I really thought that was gonna
Magic
pull it
Mike said
off,
he
but
making a comeback next year.
uh-oh. Look, that's what's up. Look, is that I thought was gonna pull it off, and it didn't happen like that. But not to say, what I'm saying, I think it's just a little bit too much because, at a certain time, I wasn't there, but I was about to put them shades on,
Oh boy. Oh boy.
you know, uh,
Oh boy.
you know, because I'm gonna tell you, when everybody in the competition, I applaud them. I don't care if you didn't win this year. It's always next year. If your
Yeah.
heart is in it, fulfill it. You know what I'm saying? I had one gentleman, man. He was in a contest, man, all the way up until the time he won. And after he won, he said, I'm full now. I'm complete."
Okay.
And every time he was in the contest, and when he didn't win, he would come to me and say, "Jamal, what is it that I didn't do right? What do I need to work on?" One of the things that man, that I watch, man, when I watch these people dancing, is when they don't pay attention to their partner
Mm-hmm.
and they look over at what somebody else is doing.
Yeah.
The person you need to be focusing on is that person that's in front of you.
Right.
Everything that you give to that dance need to be given to that person. It's not to the person across the floor
Okay.
that you may hear the people raising their voice and ah, you know what I'm saying? Because at that point, you lost.
Now you know what? I did see something like that this year, and well, do you think that is what, lack of focus, or what do you think causes something like that?
I think that if you were if you learn this dance and you taught by um, a professional,
Hmm.
that's no. Let me say this here: by an instructor that's teaching you to get prepared for that dance. That is one of the things they should tell you. Stay focused on your partner. In any dance that like I said, going back to other dances that's out there, them instructors would tell you to stay focused on your partner. Like that's the only person in the room.
Hmm.
Like you're the only one on the floor. Like everything around you is just a bowl, and y'all just shining in that bowl. And
Hmm.
I think that that's one of the biggest problems. These students have not been taught how to ethically get on the floor and dance and pay attention to what they're supposed to be doing.
Hmm.
Don't worry about the judge. Don't worry about somebody in the crowd, man, screaming your name. Don't worry about the person you're dancing with and next to. Do the best you can and make it work. Because once you take your eye off that prize,
Hmm.
you're done. I'm guarantee you. I've always it always happened that they fail because they're not staying focused.
Okay.
You must stay focused on what you're doing,
Okay.
regardless of what you hear in the crowd.
Right.
Stay focused on your partner
Now I agree with that.
and,
Now,
and, and, and show some energy. Smile. I've seen some people up there looking like they about to,
about to
man,
fight
it look like they
somebody.
about to go to war. Man, show that you enjoying it. Show that you enjoy dancing with your partner.
Okay.
So
Now,
these are things,
mm, one.
I'm just saying, these are things you need to look at. That's all.
Okay. Reggie Miles says walking has become confused with slow dancing. Hmm. Uh, I don't know, Reggie. I'm on the fence about that one.
Are you,
I see people making attempts at walking. You know, you got to remember everybody ain't on the same level, so people are doing what they can with it. We understand, you know, the rotation of the floor, you know, that counterclockwise
but
thing. You got to.
you also got to remember this, what you said, Brian,
Hmm.
is that what you told the other ones about them learning the dance of footwork and all that.
Hmm.
You have to learn from somebody that's going to teach you that. That's
Right.
going to teach you how to walk across that floor.
Right.
Not just man, because you see it and think you can do it because you looking at what they doing. Because
Hmm.
one of the big things that really bothers me is that when somebody in this contest, and I know this jumping off the thing, but I have to say this, when they in the contest, I can guarantee you, at least out of them maybe 70 some people, five of them gonna go back and start a class,
Man.
and they still haven't got it.
Yeah,
And the thing is, and guess what? People will go to them
I know,
just
because of the
because.
name. And what's sad to me about that is that while a person may very much be a talented dancer, it does not automatically translate to being a talented instructor. Period. It just
Exactly.
doesn't. Just because they say that's what they're going to do, it doesn't mean they're going to be good at translating what they do with their body and their feet to giving it to other people. That's just a simple fact. I don't know care how you slice that. Jamal, I got one close to last question for you.
Okay.
In recent years, not even in recent years, in years past, there has been an extreme amount of confusion. And this is a two-part question statement. I want you to address both.
Okay.
In recent years, there has been a lot of confusion about the divisions between new school and old school as it pertains to these competitions and how they're being judged based on the differences. Along with that, should there be, based on what we've seen recently, a separate category for actual original dance versus original old school, so that those who are veterans of the dance and those who want to improve their overall dance by adding the original style of the dance have an opportunity to showcase those skills versus having to incorporate them into what has become the newer style of the dance. I know that's a lot, bro.
Yeah, that was a kicker there. So me being original, I'm gonna always stick with the fact that the dance it need to stay in its original format. One of the
Absolutely.
keynotes on the list that you read about the categories, when they say appearance, they saying step sharp. When they say originality, that means the original part of the dance.
Right.
That don't mean something you make up. That means that man, that when you get on the floor, you need to show something connected to the original part of the dance,
Bookmark,
not
bookmark,
something you
bookmark,
make up.
bookmark, bookmark. Now, see, you just told me something that even I was not aware of. Originality
And
means
you right, the original
the
part of the
actual
dance.
original part of the dance, not your originality added to the dance.
Correct.
See, now
Because you
that
know what you
interpretation
gotta
makes
think,
sense to me in that context. Thank you for that. And I hope my audience also got that. Now go ahead. I'm sorry.
you gotta understand. Pete has said over and over again, gave everyone the definitions of each one of them. And the thing is, if you come in there with something other than the actual man that made this dance what it is today, then it's not you're not doing a dance. You're giving it something else. So therefore, when you're doing original, when you're doing the dance, you must show that you know what you're doing, an original part of the dance. It don't have to be all the way through, but you need to come with that original part so we can say, okay, they you looking as a judge, okay, they gave me something from that. I can see that. Okay. Now, when you start going into your repertoire, whatever you're bringing, then we see that part. So it's these little sections that you need to be mindful of that when you're doing the dance. Um, and going back to what you're saying about the difference in the old school and new school. First of all, new
Put
school,
it in the
and
context of
people ain't
why
got
they
want to
even
see it.
call it old school and new school. Put
Right.
that into context first. And I'm saying that only because I've done it before, but I want it to come from you.
Okay, I'm about to say this, yeah, because I want to clarify this. People need to understand this here. People have said new school over and over again so many times. But let me say this here. There was never a new school. Never. The term new school came from five gentlemen and some women. I can't remember all of them names, but I can tell you a few of them. That was Keith Hubbard. That was Steppin B. That was Dave Max. That was Rick Mahorn. I know a few more, but I just can't. But
Angie
them were the
Fane.
new
You got to
school.
throw Angie's
Them
name in
were
there.
the
Don't forget Angie.
Angie Fane. Angie Fane, man, is like 50-50.
I know. I was going to
She
say
got
she
this
on the
little
fence,
old school
but she
and
was part of
look,
that whole crew you talking about,
right.
though.
She was a part of that. She was a part of that old crew. Lady Margaret. All them. You got to remember that when they came about, so you'll know the
Reggie
old
Miles says, state
schoolers,
the years when the new school began. Go ahead.
96, 97. Let's say that. Somewhere in that area. 96, 97. Okay. Now, I ain't gonna tell you I'll leave it that number right there, but me and Reggie talk about that later. So, but what happened was you had Dre Blackwell. I
Yeah.
can't leave Dre out. They had these young brothers come up on the stage and perform. Do you know there was a resistance against them young cats with the older generation?
Right.
I'm not gonna say old school. I'm just gonna say the older generation.
Mm-hmm.
They did not want to accept them. They proved themselves over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Their title became new school because, as a slang, saying like these are new school guys, new school cats,
Mm-hmm.
not the dance. The dance was still the same. If you go back and look at it, them guys were stepping. It
Mm-hmm.
was just the way they put their flair in there, but they was still stepping. They weren't doing a lot of turns. They was
Mm-hmm.
moving, and they was moving them feet. But a lot of people didn't want to accept that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I sit on the judge panel in 2009, and I'm gonna tell you, Andre Blackwell and Lady. I can't forget my girl. I can't forget my girl. Can't forget my boy, Darren and Tori.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
Who
She was
made a
gonna call
comeback
me.
this year, by
But
the way, as
you
a
just ain't
dance
gonna
couple.
mention my name, huh? Yeah. When I say I thought, that was a master category that Andre and Lady Mark was in.
Mm-hmm.
They performed their butt off, but did they win? No. Someone from the older generation won
Mm.
because the majority of the judges
Was old
were
school.
from the older
Yeah.
generation. So, but the thing is, you as a judge too, you learn something about people not letting go. That's why going back to what you said,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care where you dance in nowhere, no other city, it's gonna stay the same in Chicago. I don't care what you do.
Facts.
You may have a few people that call themselves trying to make changes, but they ain't gonna never make changes. It's always gonna be that era. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be the 60 era on to the 70s, 73 for the old schoolers, the boppers, and this, that, and the other. And it's gonna be the original starting in 73 and on up.
Yep.
Now,
That's my
that's
category.
never going to change. So I don't care what people say and do. It's not going to change no matter what you do. Now, between the fact that, man, that we have the comparison with old school and new school, the only thing, man, in new school, you're doing all these terms, you spinning. Reason the old schoolers, they were boppers, they transcended from my understanding by my era and what happened. They wanted to do something close to what originals did.
Mm-hmm.
They were older. They wasn't doing, we had a lot of energy.
Right.
All we did was go to school,
Still
god
young. I
dang
mean,
it,
you talking about
eat,
kids,
sleep.
people that was 14, 15, 16 years old. You talking about kids. So yeah, they you know,
Right.
like you said, that energy
So
was there.
so the new old schoolers created that swag that the brother was talking about
Mm-hmm.
earlier. See, that's that era. That's where your swag. See that era. That swag is not in the new school because if you look at it and you comparison, all you do is you see turning, flipping, moving, this, that, and the other, and it's no swag there. But if you want that swag, you got to step back some decades
Mm-hmm.
and get them. That's where you're gonna get your swag, your smoothness. Hey, being able to think before you make a turn. You know what I'm saying? Being prepared. Let your partner not have to, man, guesstimate if you're gonna turn her. And I'm gonna say this: you're supposed to turn her right, but then you turn her left. If anybody know, man, most people in Chicago turn everybody to the right, and there's a reason that makes sense to turn and making a right turn
Mm-hmm.
because a right turn is the closest to your movement versus a left that's farther away from your movement.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, everything that you do, you try to do to the left, you do it far more better to the right because it's smoother. There's no rush into it. With the left, they want to turn real and rush and they get back and they start back kicking or flipping, whatever they doing.
Mm-hmm.
So on that note, that when you can try to compare them, you can't compare them to each other, but you can give them their own coin if that's what they want and that's
Right.
what they're coining it at. You can never stop somebody from using the word. The word does not, first of all, does not belong to nobody, but other than man who gave the word, and that was Sam Chapman.
That's it.
Okay, So the thing is, and ain't like he ain't trying to patent it, but the thing is, you know, it's not that nobody don't enjoy what New School is doing. It's the fact that, man, you're trying to take something and change it when it don't need to be changed. And from the young lady who said earlier, ain't nobody trying to change the walks. Ain't
Mm-hmm.
nobody trying to change uh Detroit urban ballrooming. Cause I'm like, I learned it when I got here, and I ain't trying to change it. I want to keep it the same way it is.
Mm-hmm.
I want to keep it, man, the way it is, the way unique way it is. Salsa, they're not trying to change that. They're not trying to change the tango.
Mm-hmm.
So why do people have to feel that they have to try to change something that don't need to be changed? You know what I'm saying? It don't have to be, because guess what? Before you came along, it was still fine.
That part.
When you got here, it's still fine. When you're gone, it's still gonna be
And
fine.
also to point
You
out what
know,
Reggie Miles just said, he said, please don't forget that we all did not party in the same places. And that's a fact. You know,
we didn't.
the younger generations and the guys who actually was the steppers, most of whom couldn't even get in the clubs where the boppers were. So that
Right.
was a whole separate entity altogether. And the time came where a lot of things got
I used to
incorporated.
sneak in the Brown Derby.
And you probably could get away with it. Uh, some of us couldn't. You know, I'm a generation. When I say generation, I'm talking about in stepping. I'm a generation beneath y'all, you and Joe, and some of the other cats. And like I'm one of the shorties that came up on the block watching them cats get it in, and took my place in the game in the late '70s and early '80s. You know what I'm saying? But it's been a journey, man. It's been a beautiful thing. And I tell people all the time, if you'd have told me back then that stepping would be where it is today, I'd have told you was out your mind. Shout out to my girl Donna Ross up there. That's one of my girls off 79th Street back in the day. Now, because my family, we be out in the alley playing around with it, bopping, because that was how I learned, man. My cousins and them used me as a crash test dummy. That's how I got started in this game, you dig, in the 70s. So I
Yeah.
understand what it is. Jamal, man, it's so many things we could discuss on this topic, but I want to say right now, man, thank you for your input. It has been valuable. It has been informative. Hell, I learned something tonight, and for that I thank you. I hope that our audience has been able to gain knowledge and insight into some of the things that they need to learn. And at the end of the day, man, we all one family, and we need to continue moving, advancing the organization and solidification of this dance in history. Is there anything that you want to leave on a grander scale, on a macro scale, with this audience coming straight from my man Jamal Bay? Tell us what you think.
So I just want to say this here. Y'all out there, hey, I love, even if I never met half of y'all, and I don't know half of y'all, but let me tell you this here. Remember this here. Don't judge a book by its cover and by the words in it. Judge it by the bind that holds it together. Therefore, you'll learn more from that weave than you would from anything else. So when going out there, it's not too late, but man, I'm telling you, find the person that has that passion. You will know it because you will hear it in their voice. You don't let them just sell you on anything.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Don't let them sell you on nothing. Just man, just keep stepping, and it's gonna work. It's gonna work itself out.
That part
I
right
can't.
there.
I can't wait till I back. I can't wait till I get
I,
back
I
stepping.
gotta read this last comment from Donna Ross. See, Donna's a little older than me, man. We came up on the same block, 79th Street, man. She says that swag, y'all. This is actually a very profound statement, and it answers a question asked earlier about swag. And she says that swag comes from maturity, or a father teaching a son how to be a man. As he becomes a real man, he respects himself, therefore carries himself as that type of man. It shows by the way he talks, works, treats women, dresses, and moves, especially on the dance floor. Brother, Donna, thank you, baby. That's what I'm talking about right
Yes,
there. That's
yes.
what I'm
That's a
talking
gift
about.
right there.
And
Hey, that's another 79th Street. Hey, that's somebody from the nine,
you
man. You
already
know
know,
what I'm saying?
baby. You already know. And let me tell you, what I appreciate, I think the most in that statement is that we also have to understand that some of the swag, and I can speak for myself and say that a lot of that swag that I got coming up was on 79th Street. The cats that I watched, the people that I saw, the things that I remember, the way I saw, and I'm saying that because even though in those times we had solid men around us. We had women that made young girls carry themselves a certain kind of way. Therefore, as a byproduct of my environment, I saw some cats that was smooth as butter. I saw some cats that was gangster. I saw some cats that understood how to handle paper. The list goes on. I'm a makeup of all of that. I'm a makeup of understanding. And when you understand who you are, it makes you move way more confidently in this world. That applies to the men and the women of this world. If you, and I've said it on this show, and I'm going to say it again, if you don't have someone in your life that holds you accountable and gives you that swag, you need to find one. Real talk. There's plenty
Hey,
of them out here.
did you let Wanda know? I've just read what she said.
One scale.
Yeah, and ask her could she inbox me
She can
about
hear you.
Magic Mike? Okay, because I wanted to inbox me about Magic Mike. That's my man there.
Right.
I can call him, but I want you, can you just give me a little information on what's going on?
Okay. Reggie Miles says the Foxette, Spinning Benny, Squeaky, Michael Dabney, Willie Bell, Diane Dabney can provide us with information about both sides of our dance. Absolutely, Reggie. You know what? As a matter of fact, I've been meaning to get with the Foxettes for some time now. I absolutely must have them on my show. My girl Belinda, she be looking out. And as a matter of fact, Diane Dabney, I know you're on here, and let me say to you, my dear, you and I need to have a sit down. Absolutely. I would love that. Please let me know what your thoughts are. Cause this is a wealth of information. And like I say all the time, our job here is to archive and to make sure that those who have the information provide it for the rest of the Steppin world, because the future is coming. Some of us will be here and some of us will not. And for those who won't, we want to make sure that the rest of the world gets to hear everything that needs to be said. I have missed a few, unfortunately, that got away from here, but we want to get everybody. So I'm looking forward to anything I can get from my elders in this dance and those who know where the bodies is buried, so to speak. Mr. Bay, I want to thank you, sir, for taking your time out this evening and kicking it with your boy. And
For sure.
My man Samsonite in the building. Yeah, I see you. You done shouted him out, my man.
Yeah, that's look.
Hey, Samsonite, I'm gonna see you this weekend, homie.
He told me, he said, man, carry that bag, man. Don't forget your bag. I know
he
not DJing in St. Louis.
Listen, I ain't thinking about him. I had his glasses for about 3 months. He left a pair of glasses that I had to bring to him. He can't keep up with his own stuff, talking about somebody carrying a bag. All right, anyway. Jamal, man, look, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me, man. And we're going to chop it up like we always do. Thank you for the insight. Thank you for the information. And thank you for educating my audience. I love you, brother.
For sure. Love you too,
You have
bro.
a good night, man. Peace.
You too, bro. Peace.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was my man, Jamal Bay, Marlon Brown, for those of you who don't know, who may not be up on the other parts of the game. But now, all I want to say to y'all is thank you for tuning in on this Halloween night. We had a great show, great time. I always enjoy talking to people with insight and that have the information, man. Because if the reasons why this show is what it is, Number one is because of y'all. Number two is because y'all thirst for the information. And number three, because I want to make sure you get that information. And I want to make sure that we as a community continue to flourish, to prosper, and keep this thing in its proper context and make sure that moving forward, we all grow together. So with that said, I want everybody to have yourselves a good rest of your Halloween. Thank you for tuning in, and good night. Hey, and I love y'all. Don't forget that part. I love y'all. Peace, y'all. The views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of its host, Urban Arts Enterprises, its advertisers, or affiliates, and are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent. Never measure an event by the quantity of the people in attendance, but by the quality of memories you create with the people who are present.